Oh, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your boy E here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time with all your cool wrestling backstage, in the ring, outside of the ring, all the cool wrestling factoids, everything you want to know, everything you need to know about professional wrestling. You can find it here on one podcast. This is your one-stop shop for Ring of Honor, TNA, Impact Wrestling, the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. Also, we talk about former WCW, former ECW, WWE. I feel like gets a lot of attention, obviously, because it's like a huge conglomerate, and also sometimes a little bit of the WWF. So, hope you guys have an amazing week, amazing midweek Wednesday. My mother, back in the day, liked to call it Hump Day. Not what you sickos are thinking about. You sickos. No, I'm just kidding. No, you're right there. You're getting over that hump, and it's like Thursday and Friday all downhill from here on your way to the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, to enjoy all the fun in the backyard, watching sports, drinking a couple of Coolers Lights, or your preference of poison or whatever you like to, whatever you like to do. But yeah, honestly, thank you for tuning in to me, every day, Monday through Friday. Would love to see you guys, chat anything you want. Tell me what you guys are going to be doing this weekend. Let me know who your favorite wrestler is. Let me know what your favorite finishing move is, your favorite pay-per-view back in the day. Basically anything. Don't, be creative. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. On tap today, we do have our WWE NXT review. We have our AEW Dynamite preview, and then we're going to talk about Shane McMahon is all elite. Well, maybe. And we're going to talk about our fourth segment, we're going to talk about the Sika Anoa'i family. We're going to talk about the impact he made, kind of like a tribute to his legacy, in terms of the bloodline. Also, family members from the the Mayaviva family, the Usos, the Fatus, also the Anoa'i family themselves. So a lot of stuff to cover. Our fifth and final segment, we're going to jump on into my Wednesday wrestling news today. We're going to talk about major headlines, happening in the sports entertainment wrestling, professional wrestling industry. So yeah, we have a pretty full show today, guys. Honestly, make sure you hit up that GSMC, podcast.net. Hit me some tips, you know what I mean? Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Tell me how you like my plaid shirt. Tell me if you hate it. Tell me if I need a wardrobe, change or something like that. I'm open. I'm open. You want to see something different? Maybe I can wear like tank tops. I'll wear tank tops. I'm just kidding. No, don't want to do that. I'm not a huge tank top guy. A lot of people, like, I don't know, they could pull it off, but I don't know why. Maybe it's my huge California farmer's tan. Maybe that could be a huge, definitely a deciding factor in my decision on wearing tank tops, especially during the summer. So we get a number of questions from viewers like you that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air in front of millions of people, I ask you guys to use the GSMCpodcast.net. It really does help the show, guys. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we love positive feedback. We love peace, love, and positivity all the way. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show, also to this GSMC Sports Network, so you can get more of me, more of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, or just more of a cool, awesome sports podcasts that are absolutely entirely free. So remember to hit that up. So let's go and let's jump on into our first segment, which is WWE NXT. We're gonna hit it right now. So obviously you kind of saw um the show start off with tag team turmoil. It was pretty cool, honestly. When in terms of like turmoils, gauntlet matches, battle royals for number one contendership, I'm kind of all over that. I don't know why. It's just so, usually in the past it's like so unpredictable, and like, which it is. I'm not, trying to throw shade at anything in terms of WWE creative, especially under the Paul Levesque era. But WWE NXT started off with the tag team turmoil match. You started off with the new Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates, and then you saw the OC. You also saw Chase U. You saw Garza and Carrillo. You also saw Onofre and Blade. Ultimately, you I kind of mentioned this before in the last podcast, that you kind of saw like a deciding wedge between Axiom and also Nathan Fraser. And right now, I feel like if Chase U wins the tag team championships on WWE NXT, I would feel like it would create for more of a storyline. Obviously, you kind of have Rich Holland in the group. He's still kind of testing a little bit of where exactly does he fit in terms of that. Obviously, Hill pushing for it really, really hard. It's just I like Rich Holland. I like him and Chase U, but if there's a chance to kind of propel your brand as of NXT, kind of becoming more especially in terms of the WWE NXT World Tag Team Championships. You had Nathan Fraser, you had Axiom hold on to it for longer than I kind of expected. I kind of expected them to kind of lose it 2 times in a row, but obviously that did not happen. So if they lose it, I feel like there's not much like baggage on it. It's not like, oh, they were just bridge champions. No, 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 no. Now it's to the point where these guys are obviously very, very compelling superstars. These guys definitely, have what it takes to propel and definitely perpetuate a way to kind of be in the title shot, heading toward WWE NXT Heatwave. So there's no doubt in my mind that there's going to be an amazing WWE Tag Team NXT Championship match at Heatwave. I got my man KAD Global right here. Daddy is back and better than before. Daddy, in terms of AEW, in terms of maybe in terms of WWE, and then sure, hey daddy, I don't, hey, how you doing? Hope you guys having an amazing Wednesday. How do I become part of the team? Well, you keep chatting. You keep chatting on the GSMC Sports.net. Make sure, obviously we have a group of podcasters that, we're great people. We're great people. We definitely know our sports inside and out. Definitely entertaining. Obviously, we'll love it when you guys are a part of the show heavily. So, yeah, definitely love that. So we see Ethan Page. Ethan Page comes out to address the WWE NXT universe, and you also definitely have Javon Evans. He's kind of up in the mix right now. He's definitely one of the top tier superstars, and he's only like 19, 20 years old. Definitely 1,010% out of this world. I can't believe how much Javon Evans, the young OG, has done so well with what he's had with WWE NXT. I see Alicia Curran there. They said, yeah, you are. And, also, make sure you keep that chat. We have it live here on the GSMC, Wrestling Laureate Podcast. I like Ethan Page. Ethan Page, although he has come from AEW, doesn't necessarily mean he's an outsider. I know that, Trick Williams kind of talked to Javon Evans, and also, Ethan Page and Shawn Spears and Alexis King saying that, hey, dude, be like, I don't think, these outsiders belong in WWE NXT. So, definitely love how Ethan Page is out there, definitely killing it, definitely putting good numbers on the board and stuff like that. So, definitely gotta love that. So obviously you saw Ethan Page defeat Javon Evans in the main event on NXT last week. Then he invited Ava out to the ring. I kind of liked how Ava was able to kind of, be a little, like attitude-ish about it. But she was also attitude-ish in the perfect way, basically saying that, yeah, Ethan, honestly, although you are annoying as hell, you're putting up some pretty good points, so I can't really, dispute that fact. So then you saw Shawn Spears come out. Then you saw Trick Williams come out, and then of course you saw the young OG. You saw Trick Williams, and you saw Javon Evans beat down the former AEW superstars Evans and Page and Spears. So definitely thought that was pretty cool. I definitely loved how Trick Williams said, and I quote, "Sit your goofy ass down," talking talking to Shawn Spears, which is actually I love that. I love that kind of attitude era esque. I love it when they bring in, I love it when they bring in bad words, PG-13, a little a little bloodshed on TV in terms of professional wrestling, definitely, adds to, definitely stirs the pot up a little bit. Then you see Wesley. Wesley made absolutely short work of Joe Kofi, beat him less than 5 minutes. Wesley trying to build up momentum heading toward WWE NXT Heatwave to fight Oba Femi for the WWE NXT North American Championship. His last chance. This is his last chance. If he doesn't win it, he's out. Never again will you see Wesley challenge for the WWE NXT World North American Championship while Oba Femi, holds it. So this is pretty big. Obviously, Wesley needs a lot of training. Wesley definitely needs to keep up with the powerhouse. I honestly don't see it happening, but he's so electric that he might find a way to win, which, low key, although I know that, the struggle he went through, basically was told he could never walk again, basically told he could never wrestle again, fought his way up, rehabbed it, modern medicine definitely proved a miracle out of this young man. And he's back and he's better than ever. Definitely hope he stays healthy in terms of professional wrestling. But if he wins, it'd be kind of like a play onto the crowd too much, in my opinion. But obviously, we're gonna find out what Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, wants to do in terms of that. Next, you see the Heritage Cup match between Nathan Fraser and the champion Tony D'Angelo. The Don was successful in round two, but round one, you saw Nathan Fraser win right off the bat, which I felt like kind of scared the Don. I feel like the Don, from the family, he never really faced anyone like Nathan Fraser. Obviously, you have Nathan Fraser as a defending once before. He was a past Heritage Cup champion in WWE NXT. So there was still like, although Tony D'Angelo was completely, he's the powerhouse. He's right now kind of like the I don't want to say the flavor of the month, because I feel like NXT definitely, they're going to do more with this character kind of moving forward. Obviously, you saw him losing to Ilya Dragunov at NXT Stand and Deliver in April, but I don't know, he's doing pretty good. He's doing pretty darn good. Can't really complain. In terms of any NXT Heritage Cup match, I feel like it's going to be amazing. I feel like it's going to be awesome. So yeah, you saw Frazier pick up a victory during round one. Tony D'Angelo finishes it in round six. So definitely pretty awesome, pretty electric. And yeah, next you see a promo with Trick Williams and Javon Evans. Javon Evans is just so high on Trick Williams, and Trick Williams right now, he is the WWE NXT World Heavyweight Champion. So there's no doubt in my mind that he still feels like he has to protect that title. And he kind of told he kind of talked about Javon Evans. He told him about his insecurities, about, hey man, I have a huge X on my chest, basically, and on my back. I've been screwed over once before. I had my back stabbed multiple times in terms of WWE NXT. Of course, he was referencing his best friend, Carmelo Hayes. So you can't really blame Trick Williams for not wanting to trust Javon Evans, because Javon Evans is young. He's a young OG. The smartest thing for Evans to do is to try to get closer and closer to the NXT World Heavyweight Champion, Trick Williams, in efforts to kind of pull off the upset, because right now he's the total underdog. He's only 20 years old, and heading toward WWE NXT Heatwave, it's going to be it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. So he needs everything in his bag right now. So, next you see Roxanne Perez against Karma Petrovic. Obviously, this was short work. The WWE NXT World Women's Champion, two-time Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, the Prodigy, finds a way to defeat Carmen Petrovic. Then you saw Lola Vice come out. Then you saw a backstage brawl happening between the OC and Jada Parker's crew. And that didn't stop from there. Jada Parker later on in the show challenged Michin to a hardcore match, street fight on WWE NXT next week. So that's going to be definitely pretty awesome. Then you saw Tavian, find his way into the No Quarter Catch crew. Hopefully that kind of helps that crew build a little bit more momentum. Definitely a little bit more of more of an entertaining kind of factor with someone like Tavian on their side. Definitely love how Charlie Dempsey did it right, was able to get that match, and now you have a good guy on your team. You have Tavian. Tavian's really, really good. Next we have Kaylani Jordan, the WWE NXT Women's North American Champion. Wants to fight Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka defeated Ariana Grace, although Ariana Grace was actually, she was pretty impressive and kind of hung in there for a little bit. You saw the Soul Snatcher. Now you have Sol Ruka against, Kaylani Jordan for the WWE NXT Women's North American Championship. And then you saw Roxanne. You saw a promo where Roxanne, confronts Ava. Obviously, you saw Lola Vice take Roxanne Perez's title, took it backstage. She brought it to Ava's office, and that's kind of how that ended with that. So the main event, was nothing like really. It was nothing really to be surprised of because you kind of knew that Ava kind of had to make a choice because Ethan Page had a really, really good point in terms of his title match. Also, Javon Evans did win the Battle Royal. And then you also see Shawn Spears, who defeated, Javon Evans and Trick Williams. But, you saw Brooke Jensen. Once again, Brooke Jensen makes his way into the arena, which is kind of crazy because I know he had that thing where his fiance posted on Instagram or Twitter or on social media saying that I need to find my fiance. He didn't show up from work. He's not home. Please, if you know him, please, if you're a fan of him, reach out to him on social media, which actually turned out to be total kayfabe, which I kind of knew it was going to be. I definitely know how WWE social media nowadays kind of uses it to their advantage, which works out. So now you have a fatal four-way match. You have a fatal four-way match at WWE NXT Heatwave in the main event for the championship. You're going to see Trick Williams, the defending champion, against Shawn Spears, Ethan Page, and the young OG Javon Evans. So, definitely a lot of cool stuff. Happening on Heatwave. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you watch it on Peacock. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. All right, guys, do not go anywhere. Make sure your glue is so sticky to that seat that you guys aren't going to go absolutely, you're not going to move a fly. Maybe go to the bathroom, maybe get your favorite snack, maybe your favorite beverage, but make sure you come back. And, in like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, we're going to have our AEW Dynamite preview. So, yeah, let's do it.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just going to reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE NXT review. We talked about WWE NXT Heatwave. Trick Williams is going to face Shawn Spears. Also, the young OG, Javon Evans. Also, you're going to see them fighting in a fatal four-way match against the all-ego, Ethan Page. So, make sure you tune into that pay-per-view. It's going to be absolutely dope. Now we're going to move on to our next segment, AEW Dynamite preview. But before we move on any further, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your questions, comments, concerns. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. At the GSMCpodcast.net, you can use that. You can use that link, make a donation. Tell me some of your questions. Give me a question that you want it to be read all over our platforms, all over the world in terms of professional wrestling. And it really does help the show, guys. A little peace, love, and positivity here at the GSMC Sports Network does a body good. So, definitely remember to Superman punch and like, subscribe, and follow the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast along with the network at the GSMC Sports Network. Remember, the link is at the GSMCpodcast.net. All right, so it's Wednesday. You know what that means? AEW Dynamite. It should be good. Should be good. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I know there's been decreasing numbers in terms of ratings for Collision. Also, AEW Rampage. Obviously, Rampage is on Friday, kind of like on SmackDown and stuff like that. But it's to the point. Honestly, it's kind of to the point where I don't really think there's much of a ratings war in terms of professional wrestling nowadays. I've kind of mentioned it before, with now this day and age of social media, multiple streaming platforms, you can get your product noticed basically anywhere. Absolutely anywhere. I think, like, the ratings war is kind of now like, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it, people not watching your show doesn't matter, but now you kind of have this niche. Now you kind of have this niche crowd that loves your product or they don't. So simply, if you're trying to pander to the crowd, obviously take the social media, Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, or maybe sometimes, Snapchat or something like that. I got a message from Ben24VR. Hi, how you doing, guy? Hope you're doing really, really well on this Wednesday night. Hope you're enjoying the rest of your week. It is hump day, my man. So get ready for Thursday and Friday. It's going to be good. Hope you have a blessed weekend, my man. So, yeah, let's jump on into AEW. So it's the final Dynamite before Forbidden Door. We're going to be held, AEW Dynamite's going to be held at the K-Bank Center in Buffalo, New York. Obviously, Forbidden Door is this Sunday. I think I'm going to, I think I'm going to buy it. I think I'm going to buy it. It is $50 on pay-per-view, but honestly, AEW puts on, really, really good pay-per-views. Definitely someone, AEW's Double or Nothing kind of changed my life, to be honest. Like, I watched it and I was like, dude, holy crap. This is freaking awesome. Definitely love that. Definitely love how I know how WWE recently kind of got rid of the post interviews in terms of wrestling, but I kind of like it. I kind of like how Tony Khan goes out there. He sits out there with his superstars. He represents them. They have a nice, compelling conversation. They talk and stuff like that. And it's just, I think it's really cool. I think the promo, of a standout right there, of people, flashing for photography. And so, yeah, people doing that, people interviewing you, asking questions, that's only going to benefit you in terms of, getting your name out there in terms of social media. So, I definitely don't know why WWE kind of did away with that, but obviously, WWE is an AEW. So yeah, and then we have the Blackpool Combat Club against the Los Ingobernables de Japan. You have Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Tagachi, and also Titan fighting against the Blackpool Club. Should be pretty awesome. Then you're gonna have Jon Moxley also defending his IWGP Championship at Forbidden Door against the LIJ, leader Tatsuya Naito. So this is big. This is although this is a trios match. And I love AEW for actually doing the trios matches. I love how they have the trios championship. I love how they have 4-on-4s, 5-on-5s. I dig that. I think it's total nonstop action all the time. Definitely think it definitely helps superstars that are kind of being overlooked. Maybe they're mid-carders, maybe they're making their jump into heavyweights, or maybe they're mid-carders, that are kind of floating down to the bottom where you're like, what, let's put them in a match. Well, let's remind these people that these guys are still a part of this company. So that's something that, Tony Khan definitely gets my respect about. So definitely love that. Jon Moxley. Love Jon Moxley. Don't think he's going to go anywhere in terms of the IWGP championship. The Blackpool Combat Club trio is 8-1. So there's, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. You're not going to get away so easy. You have Claudio Castanego. You also have, the IWGP champion, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson. And then you also have Yuta Wheeler as well. So it's, definitely a lot of talent on there. So, they definitely don't want to overlook that. Next, we're going to have a men's Owen Cup qualifying match. You're going to see the Switchblade, Jay White, and the Bang Bang Gang. I got 2 words for you. Guns up. So, I love that. I think that's pretty cool. Definitely, I'm a huge Jay White fan. I think he definitely has a future as a singles wrestler moving forward. But, as this time, they have all the gold right now. They're the 6-man Ring of Honor championships are also the trios champions of AEW. So these guys are absolutely hot. These guys are untouchable. So, definitely going to be interesting to find out who decides to challenge them with all this momentum on their side. It's going to be, it's absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. And then next we're going to have a tag team match, a tag team strife. You're going to see the AEW World Champion, Swerve Strickland, against Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin, the AEW International Champion. Obviously, they are headlining the AEW Forbidden Door happening on Sunday, June 30th. So make sure you check out that. It's going to be a great match. It's going to be a great match. This is going to be a true test for Swerve Strickland to see if he actually belongs in the main title picture. You defeated Samoa Joe, and that was a pretty good bout. Swerve Strickland, so far in his title defenses, it seems like it's, obviously you had Christian Cage. Christian Cage, he's good. He's good. He's definitely a seasoned veteran. Definitely got some of the veterans on your side after defeating Cage 1, 2, 3 at AEW Double or Nothing. So that was pretty big. And now you have probably, and I don't want to seem like I'm playing favorites here. I don't want to seem like I'm playing favorites because Will Ospreay is definitely one of the most talented wrestlers of all time. Dave Meltzer, he's been around the professional wrestling industry for so long. He's rated 30 something of his matches 5 stars or more in a rating of 5 stars. So this guy's hot. This guy's amazing. This guy's going to do so much good in terms of AEW. Is he ready to kind of, hold the stride of AEW, the World Heavyweight Championship? I don't think so. I love Will Ospreay, but obviously you kind of have to be realistic. He is the AEW International Champion, so I can kind of see the way he dissed the Don Callis family on, Dynamite. You saw Trent Beretta last week, absolutely furious, talking to Don Callis, being like, dude, we need to get something started about this. Then you also saw Kyle Fletcher. You also saw Don Callis, kind of talk to Roosh in the back, trying to get more, more soldiers on his side. Definitely think this is going to be a way to maybe get one of the other Don Callis' family kind of taking over Will Ospreay's spot. I think Will Ospreay's actually outgrown the Don Callis family. So, for him to be a world champion one day, you kind of have to lose the baggage. You know what I mean? Kind of like where you saw Seth Rollins with the Shield, kind of, Roman Reigns, and of course Dean Ambrose with the Shield. You kind of have to let these guys kind of go. If you're kind of shown as a WWE, kind of stable kind of guy, if you're not Triple H, Shawn Michaels, or Hulk Hogan, I don't really think you have a shot of winning a singles championship, especially one as prestigious as the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So you're going to see you're going to see both of them teaming up against the Gates of Agony. You're going to see the timeless Toni Storm, the AEW Women's Champion, against with Mariah May and her opponent at AEW Forbidden Door, Mina Shirakawa, teaming up together in this triple threat. In this trios tag team match, which is actually kind of crazy because last week on Dynamite, you saw Mariah May kind of feel like she was kind of left in the middle between these two superstars. Obviously, Mina Shirakawa, also, timeless Toni Storm, very, very impressive girls in their respective divisions. There's no doubt in my mind this is probably going to be one of the highlights, maybe the second to the main event at Forbidden Door because Toni Storm, she's so damn good. She's so damn good in the ring, outside of the ring, on the mic, promos, check. And then you have Mina Shirakawa. Mina Shirakawa in New Japan Professional Wrestling. She's kind of like that. She's that golden girl. She's kind of, I don't want to compare her to because I hate comparing superstars and stuff like that. But, I kind of see her like you're kind of like an Oscar here. I'm not trying to, play on the race and stuff like that. But, I kind of feel like, just the way she is, absolutely unpredictable, definitely has the potential of absolutely kicking ass. So, definitely think something like that's, Mariah May is going to have to make a decision. I ultimately think she chooses Toni Storm. I don't see Toni Storm losing the AEW World Women's Championship match that quick, especially, well, not even that quick. She's had a long reign. I don't know if Forbidden Door is going to be a way to kind of have Shirakawa and also May to kind of, ultimately maybe, stab the back of Toni Storm. But it's going to be interesting. It's wrestling. All right, next we have Zack Sabre Jr. against Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly, before making it, of course, teaming up with, Mark Briscoe and also, Orange Cassidy 2 times in a row. He kind of needs to kind of establish himself as a single superstar. It's time. Definitely time. Definitely want him to fight Roderick Strong more in the future. I definitely want him to hold a title. Something that I love about Kyle O'Reilly is his, uncanny capabilities of just being like in your face, promos all the time, backs it up in the ring. Kyle O'Reilly, something that I love about Kyle O'Reilly is that he doesn't need the Undisputed Kingdom. The Undisputed Kingdom needs my man, Kyle O'Reilly. So it should be interesting to find out, what they decide to do, AEW decides to do with this character. Hopefully it's really, really good. But I really don't want to see him lose any more singles matches. I think, they kind of owe him kind of like close to like a title shot here. I'm not trying to jump the gun because I have not watched Dynamite right now. Obviously it's already aired on the, on the East Coast. I have it taped on the West Coast. I don't know if he qualified for the TNT Championship ladder match, which I think would be a perfect title for him to be, in all honesty. So, definitely love that for Kyle O'Reilly. Next, we're going to see MJF speak. He defeated Roosh last week. Then he's going to excuse me. I got all this sweat. He's going to step into the ring with the CMLL's Hero. Also, he's the hard-hitting submission wizard. And then, of course, we're going to see the AEW TBS champion, Mercedes Mone speak tonight as well on Dynamite. So make sure you guys catch AEW Dynamite. That's happening as soon as you get done with this podcast. Don't leave just right now. Well, guys, do not go anywhere. We're going to move on into our third segment. Will Shane McMahon eventually be All Elite? Do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, and we're back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, talking all things wrestling, Ring of Honor, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance. Also talk about a little bit about the Major League Wrestling, mostly about WWE, and also about AEW. So, our next segment, we're going to jump on into Shane McMahon possibly becoming All Elite. There's been a lot of speculation kind of surrounding the factor lately, so let's dig on into it. But before we move on any further, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMC podcast.net. Shoot me your questions, comments, and concerns. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Give me a shout out of where you're listening to, the state, the city, whatever. Be a part of this podcast. Make this podcast bigger than it actually already is. At the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. So please remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show, and also leave a kind review. Also, the link is at the GSMC podcast.net. So let's go ahead and turn that off, and let's dig into hopefully this works. I know sometimes this software doesn't like me. All right, here we go. All right, so Shane McMahon is maybe All Elite. Love Shane McMahon. I don't condone his reputations for kind of the way his father kind of ended up within WWE. He's a different guy. He's a family man. Definitely, out of the McMahons, out of Stephanie, I feel like I only like Stephanie, and I feel like a lot of the WWE universe only like Stephanie mostly because Triple H. A lot of people kind of hate her because the whole, China Triple H thing, but, we're not going to get into that. Vince McMahon, don't want to mention more than that. But Shane has always been kind of, he's been always kind of been nice being on WWE TV. I don't hate him being a part of professional wrestling, But on AEW, that's, that's kind of pushing the limit a little bit. So let's dive into the subject matter. So there's been speculation of Shane McMahon possibly working with AEW, something that has been kind of blown out of proportion, in my opinion, from a conversation Shane had with a former WWE star on AEW. I honestly, I would probably say it'd probably be Daniel Bryan. Obviously, he kind of had that stint back in 2016 where Daniel Bryan was teamed up with Shane McMahon, and they were general managers of SmackDown Live, and it's not even called SmackDown Live anymore. That's how much Shane McMahon's kind of been away from WWE. Kind of crazy. So, just ahead of AEW's Forbidden Door, how crazy would it be? How crazy would it be if you kind of had an opposite, kind of Monday Night Nitro, kind of segment here where you saw, Shane McMahon come out and just tell the world that he is all elite. Hey guys, I'm all elite. I'm not WWE anymore. Obviously, you saw that back in 2000, 2001 with WCW Nitro, where he came on and he was like basically part of the Invasion faction, definitely the leader of the group. But at the same time, you can kind of see that back in those times, you saw Vince McMahon kind of bring Stephanie into the storyline, definitely bringing her into the company. Obviously, you had the whole thing with Triple H kind of work out in his favor. Then you brought Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon at that time, I think he was in a relationship, or I think he was married, so you couldn't really pawn him off to any of the WWE divas. But so I feel like Shane McMahon, I feel like he's done with wrestling. I don't think he wants any part of wrestling anymore, especially after all that's happened. The McMahon name in terms of professional wrestling has been kind of tarnished, allegedly. So I feel like it would kind of be worse for his career in terms of that, in terms of, investing, in terms of an executive officer job, just in terms of, just business stocks or whatever. I feel like Shane McMahon joining any kind of wrestling would be, a little skew, a little, kind of downright trodden in terms of, Shane McMahon. I love Shane McMahon, and he did absolutely nothing. But when he was in charge of WWE creative, instead of Triple H, Paul Levesque, it wasn't really that great. Of course, you had WWE Underground happening, and I think that was Bronson Reed. No, it was another guy. It was the guy who was with Apollo Crews that was promised kind of a push, didn't really get it. But you can't really blame Shane McMahon in terms of that. So it's gonna be crazy. But like I said before, a McMahon in wrestling might stir some people the wrong way. Definitely. I'm gonna reiterate once again, allegedly, and also, Shane McMahon, family man, definitely did nothing wrong in terms of of the WWE, the WCW, or the ECW. Obviously, it was kind of all his father's kind of engagements here. But Shane McMahon, I think he could provide maybe some kind of insight to maybe the business side of AEW, and that's it. If he becomes part of All Elite Wrestling, I would strictly say mostly becomes like networking. Definitely something when you get out of college, definitely something when you get out of school, you're taught to network. You're taught to meet people, all of the contacts and stuff like that. Maybe AEW has a way to find a better streaming partner. Maybe more than Warner Brothers Discovery, although that is pretty darn big, and they don't really want to mess that up. And it's just crazy. It's crazy how this might possibly happen. Although I don't think it's totally going to happen. So yeah, honestly, so you have Triple H. He's the son-in-law. He took over. Then he took over from Shane. Essentially had a chance, but he kind of, I feel like Shane McMahon's kind of already, he's always kind of been the odd man out. You had Stephanie McMahon linked to WWE thanks to Triple H. And then a lot of the times, a lot of the opportunities still to this day, you kind of had the AEW World, the AEW World International Champion, Will Ospreay kind of throw shade a little bit at Paul Levesque, being like, hey, honestly, dude, the only reason why you're kind of where you are at right now in your career is because you were banging the boss's daughter, bro. Like, and that's his words, not mine. So like, there's obviously kind of been with that in terms of Stephanie, and I don't want to touch on Vince too much, but Shane McMahon kind of found a way. He found a way to kind of step aside. He was like, I don't know, to be honest, I don't really want to be part of all that drama and stuff like that. I have a wife, I have kids, I have a family. Like, wrestling is kind of last on my mind right now. I feel like if Shane was ever interested in the wrestling industry, it wouldn't be with AEW. It would not be with AEW. It'd probably be with WWE in some way. Obviously, you have your brother-in-law running it. Your father's gone. Stephanie's kind of abysmal. Her kind of being on TV still kind of freaks the WWE universe out a little bit, allegedly. But Shane McMahon is probably one of those, he was like, this was kind of taken from me. It was nothing I really did. It was nothing that I really honestly, of course he cared about his father and his grandfather's company. But at the same time, you're kind of like, you know what? Like, I can do without WWE. I can live without WWE. I could definitely, go out there and kind of do my own thing. Shane McMahon, love Shane McMahon. Definitely love the way he is, when he comes into WWE, he works his arse off. He goes out there and he actually wrestles in matches and stuff like that. That's a huge reason why I, definitely respect him. But if he was interested in coming back to wrestling, it would not be All Elite Wrestling, guys. It would not. It would be back in the WWE. The only possible thing that could probably, blossom from this is maybe a cameo. Maybe Tony Khan finds a way to, give him a cameo where maybe he he's in the crowd at AEW Forbidden Door. He's like, AEW Forbidden Door, Shane McMahon, you know what I mean? But I doubt he's going to go out there, walk down the ramp, go into the ring and be like, yeah, and just totally kind of, I don't want to say trash his father's, achievements in terms of WWE, but I don't know. I just feel like he wouldn't do that. I just feel like Shane McMahon would not want any part of All Elite Wrestling, in my opinion. Obviously, that's my opinion. Let me know in the chat section if you guys kind of think differently. So Tony Khan had this to say. He said, and I quote, I heard the rumor that he might be interested, talking about Shane, obviously, in terms of JR on his podcast. Tony Khan continues saying, I never met Shane, but we have a lot of mutual friends. I have a lot of respect for him as an executive, as a professional wrestler. Shane is always welcome in AEW. So I don't know. This, obviously this is Tony Khan. I'm not, cherry picking it out, not faking it, not giving you guys false news. So the vice president of AEW would love Shane McMahon, the son of Vince McMahon, in AEW. In my opinion, I think it might be a little bullspit here. Kind of like, how do I phrase this? How do I phrase this? Have you guys ever had a friend? Have you guys ever had that friend where you like them but don't like them too much to kind of, them come over to your house? So you kind of just, you kind of know that they don't want to come over either, or that there'd be like a snowball's chance of them even, the chance of them coming over to your house. So you just throw flowers at them. Oh, you're so cool. You should come over. That would be so awesome. You would change the party. You'd be so good. I feel like it's kind of like that. I know Tony Khan knows that Shane McMahon would never, ever kind of come to AEW. I know Shane McMahon probably kind of got backed into a corner talking to Bryan Danielson. Obviously I'm speculating here. I'm not trying to, throw shade or slander any kind of way. But I, definitely think that Tony Khan definitely knew that he had no chance of getting Shane McMahon on All Elite Wrestling. That's the reason why he was kind of like, oh, you know what? He's welcome anytime he wants, because he knows it's not going to happen. So, he knows it's not going to happen. So, definitely, got caught in a lie there, sir. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so guys, that was my segment 3. Segment 4, we're going to talk about Sika Anoa'i and the legacy he left behind. Obviously, he passed away yesterday, June 25th of 2024. So we're going to do our best to tribute the main man that kind of got it started. We're going to talk about we're going to have a tribute to Sika Anoa'i. So hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows. Available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out all your coolest wrestling factoids, all the action inside and outside of the ring, behind curtain calls, also some backstage, some backstage drama. I'm just kidding, no, definitely not a, co-conspirator in terms of that. But, let's dig on into our next segment, our segment 4. We're gonna tribute Sika Anoa'i. So let's dig on into that. All right, let's do it. So basically, you know who he is. You know why I'm talking about him. Obviously, 1,010%. Love this guy. Love the way he's been in the professional wrestling industry since I was even born. It's kind of crazy. But, obviously he kind of had the relatives. The real life Anoa'i family was connected to the Fatus and also the Mayavias. They started with the High Chief, Peter Maivia, starting in the 1950s, 1940s, 1960s. I think it is. Don't quote me on that. In terms of professional wrestling, this family goes a long way. This family goes a very, very far way. I don't know. So, committed to the tribute. June 25th of 2024, Sika Anoa'i passes away. Hall of Famer. He's one half of the greatest tag team in professional wrestling industry. And yes, I said it, the greatest tag team in professional wrestling history, the Wild Samoans with his brother Ava. So, definitely pretty badass. He was the father of Roman Reigns and also Matthew Rosie Anoa'i, who passed away in 2017, which, kind of crazy how that, kind of worked out. But, I'll save that for a Monday memorial kind of thing. He was born in America, Samoa in 1945. The Wild Samoans debuted in 1973 in wrestling. They went to Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling in Canada and Japan, and they debuted in the WWF in 1980. And the Wild Samoans were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2007, and they absolutely dominated the 1970s and the 1980s. So, the foundation of the Anoa'i family, the Samoan dynasty, is, kind of because this guy went out there, be like, hey, brother, you want to wrestle? We're strong. We're tough. We have a lot to offer the company. So let's do it. Let's just do it. And ever since then, it's kind of been history. There is no Roman Reigns without, Sika Anoa'i, obviously. There is no The Bloodline. There's no Jimmy J. Uso. And I know that might be stretching it a little bit, but when the Wild Samoans were doing their thing in WWF, networking, connecting with the Mayavias, also the Fatus, they created a dynasty. They created a legacy. They created something that's never, ever, ever going to be broken in terms of professional wrestling. So you can't help but think that this guy was a trailblazer. Nobody that has, Samoan matters in the professional wrestling industry without Sika Anoa'i. This guy definitely paved the way for his family. Definitely did everything he can in terms of professional wrestling to kind of put it on the map. Obviously, the tag team division was a hell of a lot better back then, but that's in my opinion. In terms of WWE/WWF, obviously they wrestled in the NWA as well. It's just, it's unfathomable. It's crazy. It's remarkable about what these two guys did. The way they kind of introduced the Samoan, you only know Samoa because of these guys. I don't know if that's harsh to say, but it seems true right now. It kind of seems like that's the way it is. That none of these wrestlers like Umaga, Rikishi, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, Solo Sikoa, Tonga Loa, Jika Fatu. None of these guys don't even exist in the wrestling world if it's not for Sika Anoa'i. And that's, a lot of people say. A lot of people, especially when I got into the, the sports entertainment industry, also the communications kind of field, they're look, sometimes 1,010%, it's your skills, It's your way to adapt. It's also your way to kind of make a good situation whenever you can. But you got to network. You got to network. Sometimes it's about who you know. Sometimes it's about, what you did. And that's something that, Sika Anoa'i did definitely for the families of the Maiaveas, Fatus, and the Anoa'i family. There is no Samoan dynasty. There is no, nothing, absolutely nothing without these two guys. The Wild Samoans, also, the Sika Anoa'i. So you definitely have to tip your hat to them. Definitely, a lot of people don't know that, the reason why Roman Reigns is here right now, the reason why Jimmy and Jey Uso were a thing, the reason why, they're the longest reigning tag team champions, the reason why Rikishi kind of became involved, the reason why, Nia Jax, Tamina, you name it. You name it. If you're part of the Anoa'i family, you definitely have to back your reasons. You definitely have to pay respects to this man who passed away yesterday, tragically. So, at the age of 79. So definitely, definitely back up on that. Definitely, stand up on my ground in terms of that. So, yeah. Roman Reigns, his real name is Leidi Joseph Anoa'i, issued a statement that acknowledged his father's influence, and obviously it's not it's hard. It's hard. It's not really easy to talk in terms of your family, but yeah, he said my family, and I thank everyone for outpouring of support in the name of my father. Pablo Leo Sika Anoa'i, who will forever be remembered as one half of the Wild Samoans, the tag team. My family had a profound impact on my entire family, and we are forever grateful for the foundation they built for us. There's no way to fill the void left by his passing, but my sisters and I will do our best to represent him and his legacy. Rest in power, Dad. We love you. A lot of crazy, not crazy stuff, but just definitely a lot of. I don't know. It's kind of crazy because obviously, I lost my dad too. I don't, I'm not trying to compare, apples to oranges here and stuff like that. But it's not easy. It's not easy. And I kind of read a report today saying that Roman Reigns is probably not going to come back anytime soon because of this tragedy. And by all means, dude, take the time you want. Take the time you need. You earned it. You earned it. You were there busting your ass 1,316 days as the undisputed WWE champion. You took all the time you need, champ. Take all the time you need, Roman. Definitely love that. Like I said, he was a patriarch for the Anoa'i family, the wrestling family. He laid the groundwork for the future generations like Solo Sikoa, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Rikishi, Umaga, you name it. Honestly, the Anoa'i family is wrestling's most storied dynasties. And it's not going to change. It will never change. So, lastly, just want to say rest in paradise. Rest in paradise, you legend. The legacy left from professional wrestling, from your fans, also, to your family will live on forever. So, definitely throwing flowers. Definitely, Sika Anoa'i, respect, love, and absolutely respect, the wrestling OGs that were trailblazers to kind of made amazing people like Roman Reigns, the Usos, Rikishi, Umaga, Tungaloa, Tamatonga, Nia Jax, Tamina, Jacob Fatu, just to kind of, Rocky Might, like all these guys. So, yeah. All right, guys. We're gonna move on to our fifth and final segment. Hope don't keep you guys too long. I know you guys are getting ready to watch Emran's soccer podcast happening at 9:30. Can't wait to watch that. It's the summer of soccer. I'm not a huge soccer guy, but Emran, he gets into it. He's a very knowledgeable guy, very passionate, very charismatic. So can't wait to do that. So, lastly, we're gonna jump on into our Wednesday wrestling news. So hey, do not go anywhere. All right, all right, all right. We're back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, talking all things wrestling inside and outside of the ring, and, backstage, behind the curtain, talking contracts, talking statements, talking promos, talking social media posts, everything wrestling, everything wrestling. So just kind of reflect on what we talked about. We had our WWE NXT review. We talked about our AEW Dynamite preview. We also talked about Shane McMahon possibly being All Elite, and we paid tribute to one of the best trailblazers, one of the best trailblazers in professional wrestling industry. That is Sika Anoa'i. Rest in peace, rest in power, my friend. Passed away at the age of 79, Roman Reigns' father. So my prayers, my condolences, and also, anything I can do. I don't, what can I do really? But, anything I can get to the Anoa'i family, definitely just, let me know. Let me know, bro. Definitely, absolutely anything. So let's jump on into our fifth and final segment. If this actually works, let's do this. Why is this happening? Oh God, let's not do this right now. We're gonna do this. We're gonna have an awesome wrestling show. Yes, we are. All right, let's do it. Yes, here we go. We got Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green has been reportedly trying to and kind of advocating, kind of campaigning for the WWE Divas Championship to come back to WWE. My first thought when I saw this championship belt. Obviously, the WWE Women's Division does need a mid-card belt, but this isn't it. This isn't it. Just the word divas, I feel like undermines the word women's wrestlers in so many ways. I know obviously that's not what she, anticipates or what she thinks that she means, or what she's, purposely trying to do. But, obviously WWE needs to step up, needs to step in and tell the world that there is going to be a WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship match, WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship title, maybe a WWE Women's United States Championship. Obviously you saw the WWE NXT do it with the Women's North American Championship. You can't bring the Divas belt back. I'm sorry. I feel like you can. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not trying to be like, anyone who kind of held that belt from Nikki Bella to AJ Lee to to Caitlyn. It's not like that. It's not like that anymore in terms of professional wrestling. Look at the belt. It's so danky. So weird. Like definitely one of the ugliest belts I've ever seen in my life. Kind of reminds me of the IWGP Championship. I'm just kidding though. But definitely, think it's kind of crazy. I love where Chelsea Green's, I love where her head's at right now. But bringing back the Divas, title, isn't really ideal. Or maybe she's kind of using this as a format to be like, look, like if you're not gonna make a mid-card belt, bring back the Divas Championship. Maybe this might be a way for her to kind of be pushing the envelope a little here. Maybe her way of testing the waters here of WWE. Kind of being like, hey, like make an Intercontinental Women's Championship, or I'm just going to keep talking about basically all the stupid crap WWE did in the past in terms of women, and but we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. But yeah, all right. Our news segment number 2. We have Brody Lee. Brody Lee, rest in peace, of course, getting his own Reebok sneakers from AEW. I think that's badass. I like that. Definitely love the way I thought there was going to be like a Roman Reigns kind of sneakers during his time in the bloodline, during him as the tribal chief, like kind of having the black Nikes or like a black Reebok or like Adidas, and on the bottom being like tribal chief. I thought that was going to happen a little sooner more than later, but the way they're kind of doing this for Brody Lee, the way that they're representing the way he kind of, because whenever Brody Lee was in a match, definitely the reason why they loved Brody Lee in the backstage, kind of their aura was the way he was just ready to go at all times, the way he was willing to help another fellow wrestler, the way he was just so open, the way he was just so caring, loving, supportive toward his competition. And obviously, you wouldn't see that on screen because of his, he'd have to keep kayfabe in his character with like Luke Harper and the Bludgeon Brothers and stuff like that. But this guy was one of the best wrestlers in the world. He was definitely one of the most caring, the kind, loving person in terms of professional wrestling backstage. So I love this. I definitely love. I'm gonna buy myself a pair of Brody Lees, soon. Definitely, maybe when I get my taxes or something. I'm just kidding. But no, I do want to buy 'em. I do want to buy 'em. Uh, All right, another news story. We have Kevin Owens' son stepped into a WWE ring. Obviously, you kind of see the height discrepancy between the two. Kevin Owens had this to say. He said, "I'm pretty. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome to see. Of course, with him with WWE, I'm able to kind of bring him in the best possible place to start training." So, are you going to see, junior Kevin Owens Jr. here? Obviously, just kind of looking at his, just kind of like he looks like that gentle giant kind of thing. Obviously, there's a lot of conditioning in terms of WWE. Kevin Owens lately on WWE SmackDown, I've got to be honest, he looks jacked. I felt like he's lost probably like 20 pounds or 30 pounds from the last time the last time he kind of peaked in terms of WWE. But his son's young as hell. Dropped that baby weight in faster than 10 months. This guy can be a dog, dude. This guy can be a dog. And it's kind of cool. It's so cool to watch your son grow up and kind of be something, kind of like what what you saw, in Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio, like you saw, Ken Griffey Jr. and, Ken Griffey, like you saw Cal Ripken and Cal Ripken Jr. It's like just something in sports. Like, it's unfathomable. It's kind of cool. It'd be cool to see your son kind of move on to something forward, kind of like addressing your passions, kind of following your dreams and stuff like that, would be pretty badass. Next, we have Chad Gable. Chad Gable, when he arrived at WWE SmackDown, after everything that happened with the Wyatt Six, you can't help but to think that Alexa Bliss right there, like, dressed as Sister Abigail, the way she was with Bray Wyatt, it doesn't mean something. It could be a coincidence. I think not. I kind of hope not, to be honest. I think Wyatt Six, you're going to see Alexa Bliss. I want to see Alexa Bliss. I thought she was going to be there. But of course, now you have, Abigail, Abby the Witch, from the Firefly Funhouse. It's Nikki Cross, Nikki ASH, however you want to, remember her. But Alexa Bliss was kind of the original. That's what's kind of thrown me off, that I was like, you know what? I was so sure she was going to get that spot. But, I think she still, after, giving birth and stuff like that, I still think that she was still recuperating and stuff like that. Definitely, you kind of got to be there for your baby, especially, if you're like, I don't want to get, personal or anything like that. So I'm not going to mention that. But sometimes you got to be there for your baby, especially, if you're doing it all natural and stuff like that. No formula. And, that's a lot of pumping, bro. That's a lot of pumping. It's crazy. So yeah. All right, moving on. So we have The Rock. Had a bevy of WCW superstars he wanted to face and talk to Vince McMahon over and over and over again. Obviously, Vince's ego got in the way, did not let any of these WCW stars shine after the Age of Invasion. After he defeated Booker T for the WCW championship at SummerSlam. During the Invasion era, he was talking about, fighting people like Goldberg, fighting people like Randy Savage, fighting people like Sting. These are people that he wanted to fight. He was hoping that basically that everything that was going to come off of WCW being absorbed by the WWE, he was hoping exactly what we were hoping. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I wanted to see Sting versus The Undertaker. I wanted to see Goldberg against Stone Cold Steve Austin. I wanted to see the Filthy Animals go against Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. It's crazy, and that we never really got that, and that sucks. That sucks lemons, because obviously we suffered because Vince McMahon didn't it was all ego. Allegedly it was allegedly. Well, no, it is all ego. It was it was all ego. And The Rock was totally supportive of letting WCW superstars kind of have their own singles career, was kind of have them, making a little success in terms of WWE. Because if you kind of look at it, when WCW was absorbed by WWE kind of had like maybe 8 to like No, not even 8. I would say like maybe 6 to 8 top guys. And then WCW kind of had 10 guys. And, it's crazy. It was crazy. So, definitely feel for The Rock on that. And next we have Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes makes good on a promise that he made to a fan. March on a WWE live event. Cody Rhodes spotted a sign in the crowd that said, "Cody, come to my 5th birthday party." So lo and behold, Cody Rhodes did go to that party. Definitely love this guy. He's the king of baby faces. That's what kind of discourages me from like him ever turning heel ever, because I don't think it's going to work. The worst thing you can do is not turn someone heel. Is not break up a tag team. Is not to turn a heel babyface too fast. It's to turn like a babyface heel, or to force a babyface down someone's throat as a heel. And that's that's how I would feel like if Cody Rhodes was kind of stuck in that position. So definitely feel for that. And lastly, our Wednesday news, we have Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. He says that he's open to fighting John Cena. Woo! So like it could be big. This match could be big. Joe Hendry is, so popular. He's blown up all over wrestling social media ever since he debuted in WWE NXT. He really, you really haven't seen him go back after that. And then John Cena is waiting for another championship run to kind of break the all-time list, which I feel like WWE does kind of owe it to John Cena at this point. Like I said, he does the company really, really well. He's a philanthropist. He goes out there, he does the boys and girls clubs and stuff like that. He did movies, represented the company better than anybody else in professional wrestling industry history. That obviously that's my opinion. But Joe Hendry sees a showdown with John Cena in the future. So obviously that's pretty darn big. That's pretty darn big to jump from a WWE NXT preview to a potential spot with the Doctor Thugonomics. The champ is here, John Cena. So definitely a lot of stuff still kind of happening. Would still kind of have to happen for that to happen, to kind of surface onto the world of professional wrestling. But like I can dream. I would love to see that. I would love to see that match. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Sports Network and the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. That's it for me today. Hope you guys had an amazing day. Hope you guys loved the pod, of course. Always Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. And please remember to follow us on Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. And here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity all the way. And if I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, I want to remind you guys that we have a lot of other sports shows here. We have basketball with Nelson, fantasy sports with Chris. We have college football with Tommy. We have the Andrew Tate Show, podcast, and more podcasts. Jeremy and my boy TJ on sports. We also have a Chip Shop football podcast with Manny, the football podcast with Kenneth. So definitely a lot of good sports. We have the Women's Hoops and Heels, your one-stop shop for women's sports with Samantha, WNBA, women's MMA, also the Olympics. Shooting right around the corner. And once I said before, we have my boy Emran coming up at 9:30 talking everything soccer. So make sure you tune into that. Love Sam. Sam's my boy on baseball. New York Mets fan. New York Mets are doing pretty darn good, my friend. Hope everything turns out. Obviously, the Angels will forever kind of be tarnished, but let's not move into that. I don't want to cry tonight. I don't want to cry. I'm just kidding. Move on. Move on, Eric. Move on. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning into my show. Looking forward to seeing you guys on a beautiful Thursday. And hey, have a beautiful night. And hey, stay amazing.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.